I want to tell you guys a little bit about my morning. So I was late, a little bit, running late for church today. No one's fault but my own. I was home by myself and whatever, but I was running a little bit late for church. I go to leave and I realize that I don't have my keys. Oh, actually, let me back up. I was reading First John chapter 2 today. And while I don't think this is maybe what most people would take out of that chapter today, this is what it spoke to me. That Jesus is saying, my gifts to you. I was thinking, I give you gifts, and I'm thinking, and you have these gifts if you're mine. And then I was also reading, getting ready for Sunday school that I'm teaching today, and I was reading John 10:9, not First John like I was also reading, but John 10:9 I was reading, and it was kind of like, you're saved and then you get my gifts. And it's just like, but obviously they're not all the time like a physical, tangible gift. Like, everyone can see you have $1 million, but everyone should be able to see that God gave you the gifts, whether they know it was God. God gave you the gifts of having peace and forgiveness and joy and like a love that you can't understand, and that's not like regular love, and all of that stuff. So it's like, yeah, you should have gifts somehow. So anyway, so now the keys. I'm racing around the house, already a little late, and I realize I don't know where my keys are. And I keep my keys in one of two places all the time, and John often takes them and then doesn't put them back. And I looked where he usually puts them, and they weren't there. And or where he just kind of throws them, and they weren't there. And I was annoyed. I was very, very annoyed. It's like, you do this all the time, and he wasn't home, but I'm like, I may have a talk, and likely, by may I mean likely, would have a talk with him about that. And I'm like, oh, there is going to be something's going to happen. And if not, so anyhow, the point, so I was going down the stairs, and then I paused, me thinking about John. And I was going down the stairs once I'd finally found his keys, not my keys. And I was like, thinking, I'm a forgiving person. Maybe that's one of the gifts God gave me. I'm a forgiving person. And people actually, even though I have a bad temper towards like John and stuff, people I know well, which isn't great, but whatever, they are the closest to me, so they can make me the maddest. I was like, yeah, I don't even get mad at people all that well, because I'm just like, I just don't have time. I mean, I just don't have the effort. I can't put in the effort. I don't have the energy, and it's just not worth it. And it's just like, I forgive you before I'm even mad at you, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm a pretty nice person, and I'm not saying I'm not. And I'm a pretty nice person, and things are all just grand, and yada, yada, yada. And then I had a feeling, but did you just forgive John about the keys? And I'm like, well, no. I'm like, for starters, he doesn't even know that I'm mad, and he totally, obviously, he needs to be told about this because he keeps doing it, and he's wrong. And there's certain people in my life that even if I did dislike some of their idiosyncrasy, such as, let's say, my kids, I would almost be like, oh, but that's not the perfect thing about you, but it's kind of what adds to how wonderful you are. I'm not saying I don't think about that about John, but spouses, the grace you give to your kids is not generally the same grace you give to your spouse. So I was just like, okay, now, moment of honesty, because I do like talking to you guys and other people, but mostly you, about how you can't have idols and you can't justify what you're doing wrong to yourself, that in itself is a sin. And so I was like, this is no different than when I'm saying that about living with your partner and justifying it, or being homosexual and justifying going to gay bars looking for a gay woman or a gay man and stuff. I'm like, so if I can say that or about any other sin, it's just like, this is a sin. What I'm doing is a sin. And it's just like, I don't know if it's physically possible or even should necessarily be that I would forget, that John does that. Like, how could I not notice that John often takes the keys and doesn't put them where they should go? And one, I'm putting my judgment about what I think is right on him. Well, that's not loving. That's not kind. That's not fair. That's not right. And two, the more I'm simmering, even if it's something I obviously notice, but the more I'm simmering and not immediately forgiving, like I can apparently do for other people, that's a sin. So I'm not going to say that this is going to go well for me just because I decided, I better not be mad about things like the keys with John. But I am going to try. And maybe you should try too. For whatever your issue is, whatever's happening, you know it's there. You know with someone or in some instance that you are facing a situation like I was facing this morning, like I often face with John. And believe me, being mad hasn't turned out well yet. So if I'm going to repeat it, I'm an idiot. And anyway, that is walking with God.